Hello, just been for a walk, gonna sit down. I've got some work to do on the book, but I know it's not news anymore, but I was asked a few times about this whole scandal in Wandsworth, so I'm gonna just speak my mind about it all. As you can imagine, I've seen instances similar a fair few times over the years. It happens. I've been involved in something similar myself during my first sentence. I can say that I never told anybody, and I never fucking filmed anything, and I was never anything but completely respectful at all times. I never asked for any contraband, I never asked for anything. And just for the record, I didn't instigate anything either. What I think that I have thought about this, somebody sent me the whole 4-minute video. I haven't watched it. I saw enough of you don't really need to see all of it. I might do, but not now. So but it's in some ways it's been kind of a distraction. I've spent 5 minutes here and there thinking about it all, and there are potentially quite a few permutations to the whole story. One of them being, I have heard a little whisper that this screw may be involved in some sort of social media, or I don't know, OnlyFans or some shit, I don't know. I'm not going to look into it because I can't be fucked right now, but so if that is the case, then the whole thing may be a get up from the start. Maybe she's quite clever. Maybe she's done it to get herself out there some more, to raise her profile. It's possible. I don't know. What I do know is, look, when a screw gets got hold of like that, and there's some form of relationship, it 9 times out of 10, that person and his people in there will just ramp it up ASAP, and that screw will be bringing all kinds of stuff in, taking all kinds of risks. And the flip side, the other side to that is, screw knows what they're doing, whether it's a man or woman. They know what they're doing, they know what they're getting themselves into. But what can happen, and it may have happened in this instance, is that this guy and his friends just took ownership. Once you cross that line in the position of trust, they own you. That's it. And they will fucking get every last drop out of you, because when it all comes on top, nothing happens to them. They might get shipped out of the jail to another jail. So fucking what? All jails are the same to an extent. So I personally, I have my opinions on making that video and all the rest of it, and basically having an audience. And on the one hand, maybe she was game, maybe she was. There's plenty of people who don't mind being watched, or maybe these people that did that are just complete fucking scumbags who have no respect for anyone, and certainly not her. I don't know. I'm not going to pin my colours to a mast, because I don't know. If I was in that prison and I knew the people involved, I'd know exactly what was in their minds, all of them, because it's not fucking rocket science to work shit like that out. So, and even though everything that ever went on around me in prison, I only watched it from a distance, and no one knows I'm watching it. I'm quite well kind of up to scratch on just stealthily taking it all in without anyone even knowing I'm there. So I'd have been doing that, I guess. I also actively made myself not find out shit when there was stuff going on, whatever it was. I'm not just talking about this, but it could have been drugs, phones, all kinds of things go on, and I actively used to not bother to want to know, because I'm not a spectator. I'm not a fucking rubbernecker. I'm not the guy who stands and watches someone getting battered or anything like that. I'd rather, yeah, I actively turn the other way and walk off. It's not my business, and I don't want to make those things my business, because my business is my own. So yeah, these things happen. She's not the first by a long chalk. She certainly won't be the last. The outcomes vary. I remember one in Pentonville when I was there in 2019, when they finally caught her. She was bringing all kinds of stuff in, and she was servicing 3 or 4 guys, all friends. And when I left Pentonville, that was an Eastern European girl. I think she was Polish. When I left Pentonville, there was a British female officer. She was really nice, and I found out a few months after I'd gone that she'd been doing exactly the same, and they found out. They got one of the guys' phones and found some shit on there. It blew the whole thing up, so she loses her job, potentially goes to prison if they've got a kind of contraband case against her. And I've been asked what the outcome will be for this girl in Wano. It depends. The charge is something similar to breach of trust in a position of, responsibilities. There is a definitive kind of term for it in the prison system, and she may be prosecuted for that, and it's possible she could go to prison for that. But what they'll be looking hard and heavy into now is whether there's contraband involved. If there's any phone evidence, text messages, shit like that, then it ups the ante, and she may find herself doing a little bit of time. So yeah, I don't know anything more about it. I'm not going to make it my business to know. I'm sure bits and bobs will filter their way to me at some point, but I don't really know what to say. I don't have any particular feelings about any of the people involved. I'm just here to say, yeah, it happens. The first time it happened, I think I've done a couple of videos about bent screws, and I think I said some stuff in there. This is the first video I've done about bent over screws. What can I say? Look, it's just human nature, man. That's it. You put 2 people together, they're not always, but there's always it's not a risk, it's just a balance of probabilities. Will something happen? Won't it happen? And the more time you spend in that person's company for whatever reasons, then I guess it's always possible in any walk of life. I guess that's why people have affairs. Well, one of the reasons, not why, but it's one of the reasons that things like that happen. Maybe it wasn't intended at all. Certainly my situation in back on my first sentence wasn't intended. When I was finally put in the picture by the lady, I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised. I never got any kind of sense of anything, but then I wasn't open to any sense of anything. I was just doing my bird. Ciao.